Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back for another movie review. Actually, it's a documentary review. So these are always kind of interesting because it's kind of hard to talk about a documentary per se, but I'm going to say the title so I don't forget it. I checked out, I think it's a Netflix original documentary. It's Liberated, the New Sexual Revolution. This was kind of an interesting movie, and I do watch a lot of these, but I it wasn't as bad as some of the other ones. So I will review it, and I am gonna kind of start brushing off the kiddiness of the channel, and I will review things like if I ever get a chance to watch it, I'll review it again. The Legend of Ron Jeremy, and Lovelace. I mean, revisit that. I think it's on Netflix again. But it was a really good movie. I remember those are really great movies. I want to rewatch it so I have it fresh in my head when I talk about those because they're more adult themed, and I'll probably bring up suggestive topics and things like that. So this is kind of a more adult movie, and Liberated, the New Sexual Revolution was actually kind of on the where it talks about sex a lot in the movie. So this is not for kids. This video is not for kids, and I'm not trying to be for kids anymore. I was at the beginning. I was kind of trying to make everything kind of kid friendly and everything like that. But I'm kind of going to be myself on the Brad Tragic channel and things like that. So if there is any kids subscribed, I apologize, but please unsubscribe now. Okay. But this was a pretty decent documentary. It wasn't the greatest, and it was interesting to say the least, because it talked about how in today's society, everything on Facebook and now you got things, and they didn't really mention Tinder. That's just kind of weird. They didn't never even brought that up. Which I think there might be another documentary that kind of talks about Tinder and stuff. I think there is. I think I've watched it. I watched a lot of them. I know there's one called like Tricked. Um, I think it's one called like Webcam Girls or something like that. And it's not called Webcam Girls. It's called something else, but I can't remember what it's called. Um, but it has something. I know that one has whatever that's called. It's something about escorts, and it has a webcam girl as well. There's an escort. There's a webcam girl, and then there's something else. I think there's somebody who's slightly in porn but does webcam. Anyway, getting off topic. But anyway, this was a really good documentary. I should definitely check it out. I'm not going to remember the title probably by the end of the video, so I'll try. What was I don't even remember the title. What was it? I don't even remember the name of the title of the movie, so I won't be able to tell you. I'll have to look at that probably before I even post the video. Anyways, it's a long title. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, Liberated, the New Sexual Revolution. There you go. But it was a really good documentary. It started out, and it's basically about these people during spring break, usually teenagers from high school. They didn't talk about that, but there are some people from high school that do go to spring break. But mostly they talked about college people or younger people. When I say younger, like early 20s, going out spring break, going to Cancun. I think was one stop that they did, and the other one was I think the Florida Keys. I thought one of them was. I think that's what it was. I think another one was Tampa, maybe. I know there was like two locations, but I can't remember which ones they were. I know Cancun was one of them. And I think that's where these girls were at, and it seemed more of a wilder kind of thing. But then they kind of went somewhere else, I think too. I think they went to three different locations actually. It's either two or three, I can't remember. But they talked to a lot of different people, and basically they got to the point to talk about how you know uh, in today's thing, like I said, like I started to talk about Tinder, is that everybody's hooking up, and there's not really a love kind of thing going on, and they keep saying in the movie, there's no love anymore, or like that. No, I mean, this is my thing about the documentary. They kept on pushing this thing about how sex is just something that happens now. It's not something that has love attached to it anymore, and all these younger, early 20s kids were saying this, or younger adults were saying this, and I totally disagree with that. And I don't think everyone has that thought and point of view. So it kind of makes that and I don't want to make anybody mad, but it seems to me like it kind of pinpointed that morons are the ones that were in this movie, and people who do go out to spring break are the ones that were in this movie. Other people that don't waste their time and go to spring break and don't spend all that money to go down there and drink and have sex with random people, they're going to think otherwise. So the kind of demographic that they got, I mean, I don't know what, if you were to take a statistic, how many of those people go there every year, but I mean, I'm sure there's more added to that, like every so years, but then every year there's some of those that get taken away and don't go down there, don't go back down there and do those kind of things. And probably their point of view changes, but during spring break, they have that thought, that train of thought. Each year, there's a certain amount of people that want to do that, and they go down there. That's what they should have talked about. And they never was somebody else talking about, well, they're wrong, because there are people out there that think that, love is real and that sex is something that should not just be given away. There was a guy who was like a football player, which I didn't understand, and I didn't get his name because I don't think it really means anything. A random football player. And I don't know if this had any meaning, if somebody got killed or somebody that he knew, when they went on spring break. I have no idea. But he talked, but he didn't say anything like, oh yeah, they're kind of stupid. He didn't say anything like that. I don't know, he was just talking nonsense for the most part. So that's one point I wish they would have stuck on, is the fact that, I don't know what I said, packed for some reason. I kind of wish they would have had more facts about, talk to somebody that didn't go down to spring break. Talk to somebody who thought that they were wrong. They should have had some people outside of spring break, like talk to like a lawyer in New York or something like that, or, talk to people that don't believe in that. Yeah, I think there should have been some kind of contradiction to that, not just have this one perception from these kids saying what they thought, because that was kind of a thing, and I was like, and I'm just, some parts of the movie I was just watching, I'm like, God, they're so stupid. Like, really? Is this what you think? Whatever you want to do with your body, if your dangling falls off, your hoo-ha, gets all moldy down there and crusty, I mean, that's your thing. That's your thing. It's your thing. Whatever you do, you got it. Yours. You only get one. You ain't getting a new one. I mean, you can go to the doctor and he might fix it up a little bit, but it's yours. That down there, that's yours. And, yeah. I don't know. What do you... I don't know. But anyways, so the documentary was kind of one-sided to me. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I mean, there wasn't no nudity or anything, though. So if you're looking at this documentary and you're like, hey, should I check it out? The number one thing you should know, if you're thinking like, oh, there's got to be some nude shots in it or something. No, there's none. You don't see a butt. You see bikinis. That's about it. There's nothing else in this movie. So, yeah. And there are some documentaries like this that they do kind of avoid that, but it's still an interesting documentaries that they have out. But this one is, and this is kind of interesting. They follow two girls who, one's kind of, I guess they're both kind of like girl next door kind of look. They're not the greatest looking, but they're not ugly either. And they follow them, and it's kind of weird how they go into one bar, and this guy was like, "Hey, they're chicks, let's get them." And they took them back and said, "Hey, we're having a bikini contest. You want to get involved?" And they're like, "Okay, whatever." So, but it's just random how, like, somebody's just like, "Hey, you want to be in a bikini contest?" It's like they just walked into a bar, like they just got in, like already been taken. And that's the perception I got. Unless it was like they were there for an hour and then they asked them, but immediately, like when they were filming it and the way they shot it, like as soon as they got into the bar, they went straight to that scene where that guy's pulling them back to be in this bikini contest. And almost like, really? Like, how long were they there? Like, it didn't really say. There was no time capsule. It said like 1 hour later. There was nothing like that. The guy took them back and sprayed I don't know. You gotta see it to believe it. And the things that happen when that happen, they're trying to get him to do stuff on stage, of course. And they had their beliefs, and they had their. I mean, I'm not gonna say beliefs because then people watch this video were like, oh, well, are they Christian? I don't want to check it out. Then it's gonna be those kind of movies. But no, it wasn't like that. It was just like their beliefs of not wanting to show things because whatever. And it's just they had morals, and there were some girls there that did not have morals. I will tell you that. And if you watch it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, and the guy was trying to entice them, and even like when they're out in front of the people, he was trying to get them to do stuff, and like they were going like, no, there's two girls that they were following around. But then they also followed, I think it was like five or six guys from Australia, and they were people. Was that Australia? I think it was Australia. I'm pretty sure it was Australia. It could have been UK too. I'm not sure. I think it was Australia though. But they flew all the way down to the United States to go spring break in America, and they had heard a bunch of stuff about it. I guess it's not the first time they've been down there. I think they said it was like the second or third time they've been down. May have been more than that, but I know they've been down there before. And this guy that they showed him in the movie or the documentary, since I stopped yawning. Anyways, he was really good with the ladies, and I'll be completely honest. And I'm very very comfortable with my sexuality to say that he wasn't the greatest looking guy in the world. Trust me, I can tell if a guy is someone a girl would like, because you can kind of you can tell. I mean, there's some guys you'd be like, he got her, but but this is the guy that you're really looking at going, that guy slept with that many women? Like, are you kidding me? And like they show like in the documentary him actually picking up a girl, taking him into the bedroom, and 5 minutes later he's coming back out. And let me be completely honest with what this guy looked like. And that's why I'm kind of wondering if it was UK, but I'm pretty sure it was Australia. Because he had an overbite. He was tan, but he had this goofiness about him. And he had like a flat top looking hairdo, which I'm thinking he was Australian just because of that. Because they always have that, all the Australians have that weird hair. It's kind of like brushed back, kind of like a flat top, but it's like tilted. If you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, he had that hairdo. And it was like, he literally like had his hand around this girl talking to her, and like he whispered something in her ear, and then all of a sudden you see them walking toward his bedroom that he shares with his friends, or whatever, and he's making her a drink and everything, and she takes a couple sips out of it. You see him embrace her and say a couple things to her, and then she's wrapping her arms around him, and then all of a sudden he goes to the door, shuts the door, and locks it. Before that, tells the guys like, "I'll be out in a few." I was like, what just happened here? What did I just see? Like, this dude is a guy you'd see on the street and go, God, I feel sorry for that guy. One of those guys that you could literally say that. I'm probably one of those guys that people would say about. But a guy that you think like is super like dog ugly, that would probably not get any ladies, and you'd be like, God, I feel sorry for that guy. I hope he finds his lucky woman. And I mean, there's somebody out there for everyone. Like I said, I got married, so I found a girl, and I got a wife, and I got a kid, and another one on the way. So I mean, everyone has somebody. You just got to find them. That's the thing. And that's what I think a lot, is that there is someone out there for everybody. So you should never get the press. Stop trying. You'll eventually find them, because they'll find you. And if they don't, then you're just ignoring people that want to be with you, and you need to stop, because there's someone out there for everybody, or you're being way too picky. But don't do it with everybody. Just saying, be a little picky, but don't be that picky. Don't go marry some skank just for the hell of it. It looks like I got a bruise right there, but I don't. It's a shadow. Look at it. There's this right there. I don't have a anyway. Documentary. I thought it was pretty interesting, though. I think it was a little long, though. It could have been cut short a little bit. There was also some guy with dreads who was, like, saying he can go up to any woman and get a kiss from her. And he kissed, like, 8 girls. And he was trying to get people, some girls, to say that they would go to bed with him. He didn't quite get that, but he had a girlfriend, and he always said, "Oh yeah, but she's fine with it." And it's like, really, like really. And they showed his girlfriend, which is she's really cute. I think she was a redhead. I thought redheads gotta stick together. Hey girl. Oh, sorry, I'm married. Sorry. But anyways, he kept talking about how like yeah, love's not a thing, all that bull crap I told you about earlier. But that's kind of a thing I don't agree with, and that's a whole other topic for another video. That's what I'm talking about the documentary. But in my opinion, they didn't give, like I said, they didn't have somebody saying, "Oh, these people are stupid," you know, or saying their point of view because they got their point of view, but no one else's. So they're thinking like all young people think this, and I'm like, I don't think all young people think this. I'm sure there's people that, you know, my wife is like a little over 30, and I'm sure people her age. But then again, that kind of like goes with the whole thing I was talking about is that in this time frame, when you're like 20, 19, 21, 22, you're probably going to think that because you haven't found that person yet that you're looking for. That I said everyone has. And they get kind of, or maybe they went through high school and they never found anybody that they truly fell in love with, or never really had that love connection with. Because some people had those people in high school that, you know, they had that crush on. They dated for a couple years. They really were falling in love, and you know they ended up getting married, and having kids later on. You know, there have been high school marriages like that, and you know later in life, you know, you'll have that love connection with somebody, and it'll just click, and you'll know that's the person for you. Maybe these people never had that, and then they hit 20, 21, and then they meet their friends, and their friends hadn't really found anybody either, and then they do the spring break crap. So, and they spend all this money. They probably spend their mommy and daddy's money to go down and have fun and drink and everything like that. And then these people wonder when things happen to them, either they get shot, killed, on the girl's hand, you know, raped, or you know, taken advantage in a big crowd, which they talked about in this documentary as well, about violence. They talked about violence at, you know, spring break. About, I mean, a lot of it's probably just bringing their girls down, their girlfriends down spring break, which I think that would be dumb in the first place. If you're going to do that, go somewhere that you know all spring breakers are not going to be. I mean, taking your girlfriend or taking your wife or taking your, I mean, let's say you're a lesbian or a gay guy, even that would be dumb. Because if you know that there's going to be other people like that in certain situations, like even if you were a lesbian or a gay guy, and you know that this is the beaches that's going to have those type of people, you're going to get the same response as a straight person. And you go in that situation, you know guys are going to be hitting on girls. You know girls are going to be rubbing up on guys. You're going to get a reaction. You're going to get violence because that thing's kind of happen. So they talk about that kind of stuff. And they didn't really go into violence very much, but they talk about that there are fights. And people, they didn't really go into it too much. They talked about, I know they talked about one rape situation where some girl was basically drunk off her ass, like completely, and she could not like do anything about it. But the thing about it is, it's like that girl did it to herself. I mean, unless she was drugged, but I don't know that. But all I know is she was put in that situation because she chose to be there. And what happened? Something happened to her. These people need to realize what situations they could be put in. They need to make sure they go with friends and do all that such. Evidently, that girl was not with friends, because if she was with friends, they wouldn't have let that happen. And if she's with all guys going to the beach during spring break, that's probably a problem. If you live in this area, I wouldn't go to the beach during spring break time, because you know what kind of crap is going to go down. But yeah, the documentary was pretty interesting. There was some kind of darkness near the end because they talked about the rape thing at the end. But, you know, the whole entire documentary was pretty decent. Overall, it was interesting. It talked about gender, girl power, I guess I should just say. Woman power, girl power, whatever, in society. And they talked about that, and it's empowering, you know, going down there and girls having all this power where guys want to sleep with them and everything like that. And they kind of talked about the other way about guy power, how when they go down there, they're able to, have sex with these random girls, and girls want that, and they're looking for those kind of guys as well down there. I think, and once again, kind of one-sided, because I'm sure there's girls that just go down there and want to drink and don't want that, and I'm sure there are guys that go down there that go down and drink and don't want anything to do with having sex with random people. Like I said, a lot of one-sided discussions, so be prepared for that if you want to check this out. But it is an interesting documentary. If you do come across it, it is worth checking out. So there you go. There's my review of Liberated, A New Sexual Revolution. Interesting video movie to watch on Netflix. It is a Netflix original, I believe, so I don't think it's going anywhere. I think there is a few Netflix originals that have been taken off, but I bet they'll probably just be put on the back burner and put back on there later on. I don't really know, because I think there's only been a few that's been taken off. For the most part, I think all the Netflix stuff stays on there, so that's kind of neat that they have different stuff on there. And there's a lot of Netflix documentaries out there. I'm so happy that Netflix now is creating so much content to put on their channel. I'm on YouTube way too much. But their streaming service has gotten huge, so huge. And some people don't even really watch Netflix. I know people who don't even really have Netflix, but I know so many people that do have Netflix. So it's kind of weird when I hear somebody that doesn't have it, because it's like, dude, there's like so many movies you could be watching, and so many different things that drop on there that's so interesting. And when I watch a movie, it's kind of interesting to go and talk to people that do have Netflix and can watch it. I'm like, dude, you should check this out. It's really cool. But yeah, this documentary was pretty interesting. If you want to check it out, like I said, Liberated, A New Sexual Revolution. I give it an average kind of a documentary. It's not the greatest, it's not the worst, but it's somewhere in the middle. I've seen way more boring documentaries, and this being kind of on the let's try and get people to watch it because there might be nudity in it, kind of themed in there at you, because if you watch the trailer, it kind of makes you think there might be some in it. And I always hate those kind of documentaries and I'm not saying I'm trying to look for that stuff, but I'm assuming that's what they're trying to do, is get people to watch it thinking there's going to be stuff like that. Tell you ahead of time, so you don't get mad. There is none in it. Not even one. Nothing. There's not a side boob, not a full boob, nothing. Not even one. Not even side of it. Not both. Nothing down there. I don't think not even a butt cheek. But you might see a couple butt cheeks when they're in bikinis. I don't know. No penises either, by the way. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hope you guys enjoy it. And let me know anything else you want me to check out on Netflix. And let me tell you what your favorite thing you have. Let me know what you have watched on Netflix recently that you really enjoy. Maybe it's a random documentary that I haven't checked out or haven't reviewed on the channel. I have reviewed tons of movies and documentaries. Go back and check them out in that playlist. It's not like most of it's all Netflix. There's been a few movies I watched like on my own, DVD wise, but most of them are on Netflix, or you can get streaming. Pretty much everything you can get streaming. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz. Keep rocking and keep watching Netflix.